to start with a simple story, a fictional story. And let's call these two guys John and Paul, just for the sake of storytelling. John and Paul have a lot in common. They grew up in the same neighborhood. Their parents are also best of friends. Their parents were law practitioners, and they also took that passion, went to law school together, and even began to work together. So at this time, the time that I'm talking about, they happen to be working on a case together. John is leading the case and Paul is supporting. But they also spend fun times together playing basketball. And so John says to Paul, "See you in court tomorrow." And the next day, John shows up in his Italian suit, well-pressed shirt, and a suitcase, and Paul shows up in his basketball jersey with a basketball and with trainers. Apparently, when they both heard court, different things came to mind. One of them thought about the courtroom, and then the other one thought about basketball court. And what I'm trying to say is this. One of the things I've learned to do when I'm trying to convince people about anything is to first establish the definition of the terms. Because many times when people fail to agree, it is usually because they are thinking about different things. Especially in 2026, when we have different definitions for the same thing. It's very important that off the jump, we try to make sure that we're imagining the same thing before we move on. I'll give you a similarly unrelated example. The example of alpha male